What's up, Warrior? James Ang here. Welcome back to Recession Proof Business Tips. Today, I'm going to be going over a tool and a skill set that, if you master, will be your ultimate business tool, and that is the tool of your story. So, if that sounds like something interesting to you, like this, share this, and subscribe to my YouTube so you can find this plus a lot of other handy tips to help you to be recession proof with your business. But we've all heard the saying, facts tell, stories sell. And in fact, I remember when I was first getting into business, I was not a natural communicator. And I'm a guy as well, too. And ladies, let me know if this is correct or not. But guys kind of typically suck at sharing stories. We're kind of to the point. We don't elaborate. We don't add the emotions. In fact, even to this point with me and my wife, Becky, when we start talking about stories, it typically isn't the best. But ladies, have you found that to be the case? Are guys typically bad at stories? I'll throw guys under the bus myself. But I realized that there was a power to storytelling. In fact, ever since the back of the day, what's up, Chuck? Since the earliest times of human history, the way that information has been transitioned, the way that sales have been made, the best businesses in the world are amazing at telling stories. I remember I was going to a business conference once and I heard this incredible speaker. Have you ever heard a story before that just captures your emotion and it captivates you and it inspires you? And by the end of it, it feels like you want to jump off your chair, like, oh my gosh, I want to do something. And I remember looking at that and thinking to myself, man, maybe they're just special and I'm not. Maybe they're just a great storyteller and I'm not. And I'm here today to tell you that storytelling is an art that anybody that wants to learn can absolutely learn, because this guy eventually learned how to tell stories and how to sell stories. And that means that you can as well too. What's going on? So I'm going to start up a series. This will be 5 parts in mastering your story. Now, this can be relevant to you in any business that you're in. This could be relevant to you, honestly, in anything you want to be an influence in. Now, I'm going to talk about business, but this also applies to you if you want to be more influential in your communication as a whole. If you want to be influential with your wife, your husband, your partner, your spouse, your children, your grandchildren, your friends, your colleagues, the world. And here's a saying that you might want to jot down. Get this into your mind. Never make a point without telling a story. And also, never tell a story without making a point. You see, if you want to be a great influencer in your communication, if you want to be great in your business, you want to sell more, then we have to be very artful and masterful with the power of a story. Stories, you see, what they do is they cut through your conscious logical mind. The reason why most decisions are never made is we're trying to be way too logical with people. But if you know, people buy based off of emotion, not based off of logic. People buy because they feel like buying. It's not because it's the best product in the world, the best business in the world, the best service in the world. People buy because they want to. Dr. Myron Golden, he's a masterful high ticket sales business guru. He makes $3 million a month. That's his quote. He said, people do things because they feel like it. That's it. So if you know how to tell an impactful story, what it does is it cuts to the conscious, logical thinking mind and it goes straight to the emotional mind, and it can captivate people to make a strong decision. Now, caveat as well too, and disclaimer, is that if you're going to commit to learning this skill set, which you can, I just pray that you use it for good. Because at the same time, while there's great influences in the world, and you can use this in your business and in your life, you can also see on the flip side, the greatest storytellers can also use the same skill for evil. Hitler was a great leader. Now, what do you mean? Meaning he influenced people, obviously, and it was for an atrocious deed. But you know what he did? He was really good at telling stories. He spun a lie. And guess what? That lie people believed. And it led to one of the most horrific things that's ever happened in human history. So I just hope that as we unpack this storytelling skill set, If you commit to learning this and get really good at it, I will tell you, you will get influential. You will have people saying yes to you more. You will have more sales. You'll have more business. But I just put it onto you that we're going to use this in an ethical way. So if you are committed to doing things in an ethical way and you're committed to learning how to tell an effective story, comment me below. I just want to make sure that we are on the same page there. So to unpack this, but I'll give you the overall part to a story. Now, this works for selling a product. This works for selling a service. This works with influencing your team. But a story in general has three parts to it: a before, a then, and a now. A before, a then, and a now. In the before, you want to talk about what are the things, the problems that you were experiencing before you got introduced to the solution that you want to introduce to your prospect. If it was a weight loss thing, maybe you'll talk about how you struggled to lose weight. Maybe you'll talk about how you were on yo-yo diets. Maybe you'll talk about how you always had cravings, for example. So that's in the before. You talk about where you were before, or someone else was before they got introduced to the solution that you want to propose. It's important because the before in a story relates to the other person's problem. Here's another quote you want to jot down. People don't buy products, people don't buy services, they buy solutions. Solutions to what? Their problems. So no one cares about your amazing product. No one cares about your amazing service, but they do care about their problem. So when you build a story, you want to go right into the conversation where your prospect is at, and that is in their problem. So I sell health and wellness products, for example, is one of my businesses. I do have a weight loss product. So I'm going to go in with the before when I'm building my story. When you're building your story, I'm going to talk about the struggles. I'm going to talk about how, for me, I grew up a chubby kid and I always was just addicted to food. I'm going to talk about how no matter how hard I tried to work out and to eat right, I would lose a little bit and I gain more back. I would talk about how because of my busy schedule, I could never really latch down to a program where I could effectively lose weight. You see, when I'm talking about the problems and you think for your story, what are the problems you want to address? If you have a financial service, for example, financial product, maybe you had a struggle with saving money all the time. Maybe you were in pain because you never had enough to be able to give your family gifts and holidays, types of stuff, right? If you have maybe you have a way to help people to make money. Maybe your issue is that you were always struggling to have too much month at the end of the money, right? Think about the problems. Really dive deep into that in your before because the problems are what relates to your prospect. They don't care about your solution until they can feel the pain. Okay? So in the before in a story, jot down a couple of things where you're like, all right, what were the main problems that I faced? And what were some of the main problems that other people could face? So I literally jot this down. Number two, we have the then. If people relate with your before, they will then want to hear the then. What did you do about it? You see, our goal is to relate with your prospect on what their pain points are. And if they can say, hey, I can relate with that, I can resonate with the problems, but what did you do? You then lead them to the then, the pivot. The then is insert your product. The then is insert your service. The then is insert your solution. So before, I struggled with weight loss. I love food way too much. I had a schedule that was too crazy where I could never dial in an actual weight loss program. I tried their weight loss systems and none of them ever worked. Right? You see the before. For the prospect that's like, hey, that's like me, then what'd you do? They're going to be captivated. For those that don't care about it, they're going to skip by. That's fine. The then I heard about this product. Then I heard about this solution. Then, boom, what is the solution? And in the then, I'm going to put together a couple of unique selling points. I'm not going to talk all about it. Our goal here is not to sell it. Our goal here is just to be able to give a little bit of details that makes it different. Then I found this system that's been clinically proven. I found something that you didn't have to starve and you could lose weight. I found something where my friend was able to lose 20 pounds in 30 days. Right? You see how that works? I'm putting in a little bit of meat on the bone. So if people relate with the problem in the before, they're going to be like, "Oh, well, what's the then?" And it needs to be different enough where they're like, "Oh, I want to hear what that's all about." I'm not going to give it all. I'm not going to be like, "Oh, it's got this super fruit in it. It's got this amazing stuff in it. Here's all the ingredients." Like, I'm not going to actually pull out the clinical trials and stuff. But I just want to share a little bit in this story. The goal of the story is to be very quick and show them a clear path between their problem and a potential solution where they're like, "Hey, I want to hear more about this." So I then show the them. And then finally, I'm going to share the now. And the now could be your actual results. So, what did you experience? So, for me, going back to the weight loss example, let's say I'm sharing and selling a weight loss product, I'll tell them, and I couldn't believe it. My cravings went away. I actually looked at chocolate and I used to crave it like crazy and I didn't want to eat it anymore. I lost 25 pounds in 40 days and I got a six pack. Now, these are legitimate things that happen with me when I use this X product, right? So share your results. Share a couple. Don't share your whole thing. Don't share your whole lab work if it's a health thing. Share a couple of details that are quite significant where your prospect, if they had the problems that you had, would also want the solution. So before, then, now. Let me add one more caveat here. Let's say you're saying, well, I don't have the results that are captivating yet. Maybe I just got started on this solution. Maybe you just started using the product or the service, or you just got started in this solution. What can you say? Share why you're excited. You see, here's the big secret. Some people say, well, I got to use the product. I got to use the service. I got to have the transformation in order to sell the transformation. Nuh-uh. The anticipation, the feeling, the excitement that you found a solution is enough to get someone sold. Case in point. Have you ever seen that a new movie was coming out? And you were so excited. You saw the trailer, you were pumped, you were committed to go. You didn't see the movie yet, but you told your friends about this movie. And just because of your excitement, you sold them that they would go watch the movie with you, even though you didn't watch it yet, right? Comment below, what kind of movie was that for you? When's that happened for you? You can sell the sizzle before you even have the steak. So imagine I'm going back to this weight loss example and I found a product and I didn't even use it yet. I can share my before, my struggles. Man, before I was struggling so much, I had yo-yo weight loss, my cravings were out of control, and I could never stick to something. And then you know what happened? I heard about this program that my friend was using, and it looks legit. They got clinical trials. You don't have to starve yourself. Like, it looks like it's really going to work. And now what you can say is your anticipation. And you know what? I grabbed it. And I'm so excited to start because I've been seeing the stories of other people. And based on everything that I've learned and everything that I've seen, I'm super hopeful for what this is going to do. It just makes sense. I can already see how this can be a way different experience than what it is I had before. You see, I didn't even use it yet. But just because I was excited through this story, I had a clear before with my problems. I had a then, and then I had a now. Because I had that clear path, just by sharing that story of anticipation, if you have a prospect that has the same problems that they resonate with you, they might actually say yes, taking a look at your product or service, your solution, before you even actually have the results. So I'm telling you, your story and telling it is your ultimate business tool. You can use this for any product, any service, anything that you want to convey to somebody. Never tell a story without making a point. Never make a point without telling a story. If you can master this, you will be able to have way more success within your business. So I hope that encouraged you. If it did, like this, comment below what you got from this as well too, and subscribe to my YouTube for this plus more as well too. This is part 1 of 5 in a series on how to master your story, your number 1 business tool. So stay tuned for the next conversations. And side note, If you are looking for other business opportunities, I run an organization called the Warrior Movement. We train people how to run a phone based business. It's fun, simple, and professional. And we teach you these types of cool things as well, too. So if you want to find more information about that, click on the caption below, click on the link in the bio. There's a form called Work With Me. Fill it out. I'd love to stay in touch and share with you what's going on. If not, stay tuned for the next conversations because you can apply this and it's going to boost up your business. All right. Other than that,